Hi, my fantastic readers. How are you today? Today, I have some really exciting news to share with you. So, from now until we're either back together in the classroom, which I'm not really sure that that's going to happen this year, or until the end of our online school ends this year, we're going to be spending Mondays focusing on some reading strategies, and then Wednesdays focusing on some writing strategies. Because we're missing our reading and our writing component in the classroom. We wanted to give you a chance to ease into it a little bit. And now that we're 3 weeks in, 4 weeks in, we can start adding another component on there. So today is Monday, so we're going to be looking at reading. We're going to continue to grow our knowledge through comparison and contrasting. Remember, compare and contrast as how two things or more than two things are like is compare, contrast is separate, they're different. So far, we have been doing some work with frogs and toads when you're with me and we're teaching. And you've been doing some work on your own with elephants and elephants' trunks. So far, we have learned about how frogs and toads, their bodies are adapted for safety. They camouflage their bodies by blending in. Some of the frogs and toads have the adaptation for safety by having really bright colors to warn their predators and enemies to stay away. And then remember that one little tree frog with the red feet and the red legs, that his adaptation was he folded his arms and his legs in underneath his body to keep him safe. So we're going to grow our knowledge a little bit more about frogs and toads and also elephants. That's the independent work you're going to do. And talk about their diet. Now, diet, friends, oftentimes we hear the word diet and we hear especially grown-ups saying they need to lose weight, they need to go on a diet. That's one way of thinking of diet. But diet is also what people eat. So I look into my first Frog and Toad book, and I look at the table of contents and I see that there's a chapter titled Yummy Food on page 12. Because remember, we're reading researchers. I don't want to sit here and read all 32 pages looking for what they eat. I want to look at that table of contents and be a smart researcher. So I'm going to go right to page 12. And I am reading here about what they eat, and it's titled Yummy Food. Frogs and toads eat worms, snails, and insects such as mosquitoes and dragonflies. They do not need to drink. They take in water through their skin. So I already went ahead and did a little bit of this pre-work, grabbing my marker here, did a little bit of this pre-work of some of the things they do, that they eat in their diet. And I wrote insects. I'm not wrong by saying that they eat insects, but did you hear any specific insects that they eat? I did. I'm going to go back and look because remember, readers go back and reread as often as they need. I hear that they eat worms and mosquitoes. So I'm going to put that up here. Worms, mosquitoes. Okay. Now, do I want to just read one source of what they eat? No, I want to read more. I want to learn as much as I can because I want to grow my knowledge. And you did that over the last couple of weeks, looking at more than one resource of elephants' trunks. Remember, first you read about it on the one article, and then I assigned the Get Epic book. So again, I'm looking at this Life Cycle of a Frog book. I am looking at my table of contents, and I am seeing that on page 22 is frog food. So I'm looking at that table of contents, and on page 22 is frog food. So I'm going to read that. Frog food. Small frogs eat a lot of tiny insects. Okay, that's not new knowledge. I already know that. I listed worms and mosquitoes as examples. Large frogs eat rats, mice, and small snakes. Some large frogs, such as the frog above, that's this guy right here, eat other frogs. And if you look real closely, you can see the frog's legs in there coming out of his mouth. So I grew my knowledge a little bit, and I can add it. And I've done a little bit of this work ahead of time. I wrote that they ate small snakes, rats, mice, Oh, what else did they read in there that they eat? Snails. Oh, how could I forget? Other frogs. Okay. So snails, and then they eat frogs. All right. So what you're going to do today is I have assigned you 3 or 4 more elephant books in Get Epic. I don't need you to read all 3 or 4. You can if you want. Grow that knowledge. I'd love that. But I want you to read at least 2 because you want to grow your knowledge over several sources, not just one. And you're going to see a chart just like this in your Google Classroom assignment. Instead of frogs and toads here, it says elephants. I filled in the adaptation part already. You guys did all that brainy work. I put it in there for you, all the research that you learned about elephants' trunks. I want you specifically to be looking for elephant diet, what they eat, over at least 2 sources. This grid, friends, this Google Doc that you're going to click that file and save and rename for yourself is going to be a working document that you're going to use over the next couple of weeks as we grow our knowledge and to do comparison and contrast of elephants to another animal yet to be determined. And we know that leaders begin with the end in the mind, they begin with the end in mind. Well, I want you to know what the end is. The end is going to be this super cool, I promise, fun research project where you're going to be looking and either designing or researching the habitats of an elephant and the other animal that you choose. You're going to get to do some cool things with it. I'm super excited to do this with you because you're going to be working on growing your knowledge and reading all while doing some really creative, fun stuff. And I know you guys love stuff like that. Okay. So, again, what you're off to do now is you're going to fill a chart out like this. It's in the assignment. It's going to be on the elephants. You're going to go into Get Epic, choose a couple books, do some reading or listening, and find out what kinds of things an elephant eats, the elephant diet. Now, again, some of those books are very lengthy. Do you have to read the whole thing? No. Look at the table of contents. Arrow through that Get Epic. Find that page. Be a smart researcher. If you want to read the whole thing, go for it. I would never stop you from reading, but you only have to read the part on an elephant's diet. Okay. All right. Off you go to work. I'm so proud of you. See you soon. Bye bye.